Hi there! Welcome to another Bake Blogging Vlogisode. Are you ready to talk pâte à choux? Pâte à choux is a French pastry that serves as a vehicle for creams, custards, puddings, and much more. Pâte à choux literally translates to paste of cabbage. If you know how to make pâte à choux, you can make a plethora of impressive French pastries. I can't pronounce half these fussy French names, I'm sure I'll butcher it. But don't be disappointed in my lack of French-speaking skills. I'll say a few words in another European language and we'll just call it even. Alles klar? Pâte à choux ist leicht, aber mich nicht falsch. Aller Anfang ist schwer und U-Bahn macht den Meister. Sie scheinen schwierig, aber keine Angst. Du kannst Pâte à choux machen. Ich weiß, was ich konnte. Wir werden sehen, was wir machen.
Frame your greatest weakness as a triumph. Make sure to make it all congeal and add up to the sum of what they want from you. They don't want the real. So you want my story? A tale that'll make the best impression. What I want you to see. But it's just a story. Everyone you meet will ask not to know the dark side of your life. Nobody wants to hear it. Keep it to yourself again.
Did you see anything you like? We'll be making cream puffs in this vlogisode because it's super easy to pronounce. No, that's not really why. We're making it because I kinda already did without you. Choux pastry requires 4 simple ingredients. Sounds easy enough, but it's the technique and execution that is the tricky part. It was Albert Einstein who said that things should be made as simple as possible, but not any simpler. First, we need to understand how choux pastry works before we can even simplify our recipe. The interesting thing about choux pastry is that it's twice cooked, first on the stovetop and then the oven. It's a cross between a batter and a dough, so it's a paste essentially. This recipe is not so simple. Do you see my favorite ingredient to avoid? That's right, bread flour.
Nice to meet you. And I feel that you've got your own.
Bread flour is often used by pastry chefs for choux dough because of its additional protein.
And I don't need to ask this time. I know it's not a pretty picture story.
But for our little experiment, we'll be using all-purpose flour and fewer eggs.
You got your polished presentation. What you want me to see, but it's just your story. You know the whole truth, and just don't go and tell the whole wide world you want my story.
The recipe looks simpler now, doesn't it? You know I'm looking out for you.
That's my heroic tale and distinguished record, like it was meant to be, but it's just a story.
Let's get started with sifting the flour, sugar, and salt. Notice how chunky it looks. And notice how smooth it looks now. This will make mixing the ingredients together a lot easier. Now it's time for part 1 of the cooking process. Melt the butter and water and bring it to a boil before adding the flour. Why do we have to wait for the liquid to boil, you ask?
Put your best foot forward. It's nice to meet you.
After adding the flour, reduce heat to low and keep working the mixture in order to allow extra water that is not absorbed to evaporate and to cook away the flour flavor. The drier the dough is, the more eggs it will be able to hold, but be careful not to overcook it, otherwise it won't be able to absorb the maximum amount of eggs. We know it is done when the choux paste is no longer sticky to touch and when the mixture pulls away from the sides of the pot. Also, this is unrelated, but they smell like mashed potatoes. Allow the dough to cool down before adding the eggs, or else they will cook from the residual heat.
triumph. Make sure to make it all congeal and add up to the sum of what they want from you. They don't want the real, so you want my story.
Add the eggs in one at a time, making sure it is fully incorporated into the batter. By doing so, we are trapping the air cells in the egg white foam, which will help the choux dough expand the oven. Egg whites have the greatest leavening capacity by volume, and the fat in yolks counteracts and inhibits this foaming. This is why professional pastry chefs use a greater ratio of egg whites to yolks in their pate choux recipes. Use this dough to form 12 golf ball sized spheres. Pat down any protruding tips with wet fingers or else they will finish cooking first and then burn before the entire pastry is fully cooked. Did you know that protein sticks to aluminum? So be sure to use parchment paper. Parchment is a heat-resistant paper impregnated with silicone, which is unsticky and molecularly inert.
So you want my story.
This is optional, but you can brush them with an egg wash. Egg whites provide luster, while egg yolks provide color. Pop these babies into a very hot oven of 425 degrees Fahrenheit. We need this high temperature because heated air expands. You see, the water boils and turns into vapor, creating steam. This steam results in a pressure buildup which increases the volume of the pastry and is what creates that cavernous, empty center. After 15 minutes, reduce the heat to 350 degrees Fahrenheit to dry out the remaining moisture. Refrain from opening the oven door, else they will immediately deflate and fall flat. Bake for an additional 30 minutes until the protein in the crust has solidified and can support its own weight. Cut slits into the pastry so you can relieve the trapped steam. After they cooled, I split them in half to see what they look like inside. And you can see that they are hollow. It's time to fill them. I'm using a custard type yogurt, but you can use whatever. If you choose not to split them, you can pipe your filling straight into the puff. Using a piping tip and coupler, I can show you how to make your own pastry bag. First, place the bottom end of the coupler into a Ziploc bag. Snip off 1/4 inch of the corner, which is just enough to partially slide the coupler through. Place the tip over the coupler and twist on the top portion of the coupler. Now you're ready to fill and pipe. You can bake the choux pastry in advance too. These keep well in the fridge and the freezer. But remember to fill them when you are ready to eat them, otherwise they may get soggy. Now that wasn't so hard, was it? Who knew that these impressive treats are so easy to make? I understand the science behind pate choux is a bit more complex, but if you just follow my recipe and instructions, then you won't go wrong.
It's nice to meet you. Please sit down and I'll ask the questions. How did you advance along from birth to this moment here? Make it good, make it fast, make your first impression last.